So I'm gonna tell you about my 90-day AI system sprint. First, I start off by making Conn2Flow multilingual, both in the installation process and the system itself. Right now, it has English and Portuguese, but it's already set up to support any other language. After that, I create an AI-empowered development and automation environment. It's got a bunch of docs, boilerplate, templates, and scripts. As an example, it includes scripts for GitHub Copilot, chat mode. When you are working Copilot, you can just select it and it loads automatically. There are also automatic tasks with a bunch of scripts, a whole list of them. This is an example of a resources feature, which is how we create a new resource. The entire database structure is now set up. It uses a system that splits metadata files, so that's how it's structured. For example, let's look at changing the admin layout. Here's the HTML file that stores the resource of it. Let's add a title. I add a title to the file, save it. Then we run the resource microservice using a test script that fetches all resource raw data from the source and updates all data.json for each resource, storing its files in this directory. After that, you just sync it. Here's the layout data clearly showing it, modify the file. Then you send it to the testing system. It uses those two tasks to both sync the files and update the MySQL database directly. And here it is, working. Next up, I built the CI/CD release system for the whole admin panel. It's all structured. It has this title, task ready to go. You just add the tag commit message and type like pat or whatever, and it automatically creates it and sends it to GitHub. Then GitHub workflows kicks in and it creates the release automatically. I also created a Docker development environment. It has all the files I developed with the AI, all ready to go, so anyone can set up their own environment. You just run the Docker file. Here's all the info for the Docker environment. And here are the Docker's image folders. And all this task is ready for you to use. And where it is, running on the localhost test environment. I also built the entire system installation and the update process. It's automatic. So here's an example of the installation manager with all the fields you need to fill out. Import tech details and the button. You click the button, you will download the latest version, unzip and place all the new files, configure the database, and then redirect you to this success screen. After that, you can log in. And there is an update system. Here's an example of a full update. You click full, it runs the whole update, pulls the latest version from GitHub, the one we just pushed with the CI/CD, and installs it automatically. Here's an example of the same idea. I also created an automatic release environment for plugins. This is for anyone who wants to develop their own customizations. Here's an example of a specific plugin, in this case, a public one. And to support CI/CD, I also built a plugin dev environment. You can create private or public plugins. It supports both. Here's a boilerplate template. You just copy it. In the environment variable, you set which plugin is active. It uses the same module structure and the data is identical to the main admin panel. It's like a complete copy of it. Here's an example of a build a plugin image. I automatically generate the zip file for us to test. So, in the test environment, we are going to add a new plugin. We deploy it, and here's the file in the right folder. We select it and install the new plugin. The installer takes it from there. You click to run the install or updation option, and it grabs the data and updates everything, database and files, all at once automatically. You don't have to do a thing. Here's an example of plugins modules that get loaded into the system. It's just a simple module, just to show how it works. And then I also create AI library infrastructure. Right now it's just the Gemini API, but I'll add the other models in the future. It works with Google Gemini. You just have to put it your API key, which you can find it in the Google AI Studios. Here's an example of how I structured it. Basically, there is a mode prompt, which are the technical prompts, and also the user prompt. So the actual request to the AI server is a combination of those two. In this case, it's an example created the 5 section of a HTML page. And now, here's an example of it in action. So implement this in my page creator module. I'm supporting 2 CSS framework, but in this case we're gonna using Tailwind CSS. The prompt is already working automatically. It identifies the connection we just set up, and here are the modules ready to process the request. And there is a prompt interface. It's structured so the user can grab a ready-made prompt, or they can create, modify, save, or delete their own. It's super lightweight. So here's an example of create a page with 3 sections. You type what you want, click process request, and it returns the page using Tailwind CSS, completely automated. To make changes, you just select the section. You can update it section by section. In this case, you see the target section field. There are the 3 sections we just created. Let's say you want to modify the middle one. You added a form there, but we also have the option to create a new section before or after the target section. And then you just click process again, and you see the form is now included in that middle section. Finally, you just click preview and then send to save the page. It generates the link for you automatically. You just go to that link and you'll see the page is live and working, built with Tailwind CSS. Thanks.